Welcome to Hello Crypto, episode 6, presented by 60s Trading. Learn, execute, profit. Well, let's go ahead and get into this one. This is going to be a pretty quick show today and stuff. We had a short one last night. For some reason, it didn't record everything, but what we was calling out for the XRP and everything, it started to plan out. Now, we haven't already pulled all the way down yet, but we have started to pull down. So last night we was talking about how the green had done crossed over on the red on the 1 hour. We was talking about how we needed to pull back down, but that our 1 hour and our daily pink lines are up in that $2 area. Now we're looking at it this morning. The 1 hour is already up to that 201, which is actually the area that I was saying that I'm looking to reload and enter into another trade. So my trade's looking at entering in at 201. Again, stop loss sitting down at $1.98. That's what we're looking at. Here we see we have that red dot on the 1 hour time frame. We have that higher high right there below, right just before it. So with those two, it's confirmations we're going down. You put your trade in and you write it down. All right. Now we're waiting for it to go all the way down here, hit the green area to come back up. Where's that going to be? That's going to be down at our 201, $2 area. I don't believe we break below $2. If we do, we may see lower prices, but I do have a stop loss that's at $1.98. So if we do hit and we break past that $1.98, we get knocked out, take a small loss, and we'll be looking at another entry at that $1.88, $1.82 area. Okay, but so far, what it looks like with those two pink lines lining up at around the same price exactly, that gives me the ideas right there that we have a solid support and we shouldn't break below the $2. We should be able to hit that and then continue our next leg to the upside. So that's what we're looking at on XRP. It's still looking like it's got to push up some more. Bitcoin has pulled back as well. We're looking at that one to be able to do some more continuation to the downside as well, because we need to come back, touch the green line, possibly hitting this lower order block that it created here, which would also indicate basically what we've called out for XRP. So that order block is sitting at $92,516 down to that $90,135. So if we break past that, we'd be looking at that lower order block setting right there at that $88,917. So we'll switch on over here, Ethereum. All right. We had that order block right there. It's pulled out on the daily, and that one is setting at the $3,171, all the way down to that $3,067. And that's the order block that we're looking at, Ethereum pulling back down and touching before it continues upside as well. Now, like we were saying on Bitcoin, when we look at it on the daily here, it's close to, topping out. So as it winds up topping out, you're going to wind up seeing it go sideways and start to pull back some. And I believe that right there is going to be our part where the Bitcoin dominance finally drops. And we're going to be able to see alt season coming in. Okay. So these indicators are pretty daggum amazing. Look at it right here. All right. So back here on October 9th, we had a red dot just before we had the higher high. And if you'd have put in a short on that, you could have rode that all the way down here. Here we had a green dot and a lower low. If you got in on that, you could have been riding it up. And we pulled back some, but we did not break back down below that little wick that we had on the green dot. And we're back up again, coming up, getting ready for that next part to sell. So that's what we're looking at with Bitcoin. Is it's getting ready to start to go sideways. So we may see that 104,000 area and stuff. So be ready for that. But right now, what we're looking at, what we're calling, is there is a pullback coming. We're going to be seeing a little bit lower prices, hitting those order blocks before we push on up into continuations. Okay. So even on the XRP, if we took and followed the system the way we call it, we have that lower low, we get that green dot, we put an entry in, stop loss down here just below the lower low. We would be up a good chunk. I think I called that one last night for, let's see, like a 30%, I believe. Yeah, it's like 32%. So a 32% pump up there. We're going to see it pull back, touching our pink lines, and it's going to continue up, hitting in that $2.50 area. And we may actually, with a Bitcoin, if it does break dominance, we may blow through all these order blocks as the alt season kicks in and we start seeing a beautiful, beautiful pump. Now, moving on over to DAG, we're going to take a look at this real quick here. All right, so like I said, we'd pulled into this order block here that we had called out. We, and technically last night, we had it where this higher high right here was shown, where it came all the way up to that, 0.014408 area. That actually dipped just into the order block that we had called out that was back in here, which I've already deleted out and stuff, but it popped into it just enough to enter, and then it reversed, came all the way down, and it's touched into this order block right here. And this is where we're looking for it to possibly reverse to push on up. But if it doesn't, that's okay. We do have this other order block down below it, which means if we was to enter in on that trade right here for a long, our stop loss will be just below that order block right there. Now, if it knocks us out, we're going to look at this next entry here. Stop loss just below it. So we may take a small loss if it does go to this one, but then when this one reverses, we go back up. We're looking at DAG going all the way back up to at least the daily pink line, which is at 0.0356. Okay, so that's going to be beautiful stuff. But even at that, we get all the way up to there and stuff, all season and kicking in and stuff. We're going to see some new all-time highs for DAG as well. So all-time right here is 46 cents. So if we go back up and we break the all-time high there, that right there is going to make people millionaires. Okay, depending on how much you got, you're probably gonna wind up making billions. But all right, let's go ahead and we'll take a look at H bar real quick. So we looked at H bar last night, and this part didn't wind up getting covered on the recording for some odd reason. But here we can see we're in a continuation. We're looking for it to pull back as well, just like XRP, Bitcoin, and everything else there. And I'm looking for it to hit this lower order block. This order block setting here at that 11 cent 33 down to the 11 cent 02. Okay, so we pull back down in here. I'm looking at probably around just the 11 cent 090 area, touching, keeping within our trend, and continue up to the next order blocks we have, which, as you can see right here, this one actually tapped perfectly to that order block right there. Just like I said on DAG, I haven't deleted this one out, but it touched it perfectly. It's pulled back, pulls back up a little bit, crossing the orange line, and then it's got to come back down some more to finish this little pullback, but it's going to continue to stay in that upwards trend, working up to our next order block, which is setting up here at the 17 cent up to the 18 cent area. So that's what we're looking at on H bar. That's going to be beautiful to see that push up and making that a good trade. Okay. All right. So we appreciate you tuning in here and stuff. That's going to be a wrap on the Hello Crypto. Make sure you like, subscribe, and check the link in the bio for more. Learn, execute, profit, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.